Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome back to Cluster 6 Multidisciplinary Research Summit. So, this time we're going to continue the presentation of the remaining teachers participant for the classroom-based action research. And as of this afternoon, we're going to have our new set of panelists. So, may I have, okay, we have the same, Ma'am Raisa Z. Samiliano, PhD, Sir Hervasio E. Salinas Jr., PhD, and together with us, Ma'am Luz Celine A. Cabading, PhD. Welcome back, panelists, and welcome po, Ma'am Luz, for the Research Summit. Okay, so we're going to continue. Now we're going to proceed to our fourth participant from Carmen Integrated School, Sir Arnold A. Opon, with his classroom-based action research title, Absenteeism of Grade 7 Students of Carmen Integrated School, Causes and Remedies.
My highest respect to our PSDS, Dr. Janito Ogalan, organizers, and my fellow researcher. Good day. Before I want to start my presentation, please allow me to introduce myself. By the way, I am Arnold A. Opon, Obiao National High School, a detailed teacher 1 of Carmen Integrated School, which is located, or would I say, may pera sa basura, also known to us the Davao City Sanitary Landfill. My action research entitled Absenteeism of Grade 7 Students of Carmen Integrated School, Causes and Remedies. Well, to continue the context and rationale of my action research, this action research will address the problem on how to eliminate the chronic absenteeism of grade 7 students in Carmen Integrated School. One of the most important roles a teacher plays in the life of a learner is to ensure that no one is left behind. Hence, the student's absenteeism is a major concern of every educator, and that was according to Merville D. of 1981. To continue, in my grade 7 class, I strictly imposed the attendance policy. However, there are still students who are absent, which affect them both socially and academically, which will eventually lead to a self-low esteem, social isolation, and dissatisfaction of the learner. And that was according also to Obrador 2014. Next, and this one is the research question. First, the problem that I want to address is how to eliminate, if not to eradicate, the absenteeism of my grade 7 students. This action research aimed to find a solution to this problem. More specifically, this study will seek to answer the question, what is the most effective solution to eliminate, if not to eradicate, the truancy in my grade 7 students? Propose innovation, intervention, and strategy. First, formal conference with parents or guardian. I will call the attention of parents of the identified grade 7 students and conduct a formal conference to talk about the possible remedies to end the problem regarding absenteeism. Number 2, classroom involvement. Then self or sabotable na siya. And number 3, reward and awards. I will give the identified students any form of rewards, such as giving them a 1 kilo of rice or any related goods, and other awards and rewards. Action research method. A, participants or source of information. The participants of this study will be the previous grade 6 classroom advisor and the identified grade 7 students that are absent in almost 10% or greater than of the total number of days for a month of August and September 2019. Letter B, data gathering method. The baseline data of this study are the school Form 10 or SF10 from the previous grade 6 teacher. Daily records of attendance or SF2 for the month of August to September 2019. Performance record and formative test results. I will also prefer interview question for the previous advisor of the identified grade 6 students, or what I say grade 7 students, about their class attendance and academic performance. Letter C, data analysis plan. The quantitative data shall be gathered using the record of attendance of my grade 7 students in the month of August to September 2019. The results shall be analyzed by the researcher through the observation and comparison, while the qualitative data shall be gathered using the response of the students of the grade 6 teacher. The result shall be analyzed by the researcher and will be the basis of the discussion and reflection. And here are my reference. Again, thank you so much and have a good day.
Okay, great presentation from you, Sir Arnold. Again,
Thank you so much.
congratulations. And now this time, may I call on the panelists for the Q&A portion of parang pageant lang na. Okay, the Q&A for our researcher. Okay, sino po yung mauna? May I request Dr. Luz Celine Kabadi?
Yes.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon po.
Good afternoon, Mr. Opot. No, so I'll go straight to the question if you don't mind. No.
Yes, ma'am, no problem.
You mentioned two methodologies in your study, no? Quantitative and qualitative. Tama ba, Mr. Opon, no?
Correct.
Would you mind telling me, hindi ko masyado nakuha yung detail ng what data were you gathering for quantitative and qualitative in relation to your study? So can you expound on that a bit?
Yes, ma'am. Noted, ma'am. So, for that, ma'am, for the method po, ma'am, so this will be for the qualitative data, ma'am. I am going to gather the data using record of the daily attendance of my students. Then, while for the qualitative, where is it? Where is it? Then for my qualitative research, ma'am, then I do have the so-called interview question to the students as well as to the teacher itself for the previous grade level.
Clarification lang, is this study already done or you're still proposing it?
It's already done, ma'am. Way back 2019, ma'am.
Okay, so siguro ang gusto ko lang malaman, what I wanted to know, Mr. Opon, is for quantitative data, since you are saying that your objective of your study is to eliminate, if not to eradicate, right? No, so
yes, ma'am.
So your measures will be your data, no? So if you say, okay, so in quantitative, the number of attendance, okay, so I would expect that you are showing a comparative result of the comparative of what attendance from what term to another term. And then for your qualitative would be, I wanted to know what are those questions. So like a little bit of expansion on how was it done, like details, so you get to address your objective.
All right. Ma'am, for that concern, I do not have any survey question here in my laptops, ma'am, because some of my questionnaire, ma'am, nandun po sa school po, ma'am, kasi ginagamit po namin sa SBM.
Yung maalala mo na lang. Yeah, just even one question.
Ah, ano ma'am, number one question po ma'am sa pagka-remember ko ma'am is kung ano yung mga problems po ma'am na face po ng mga bata ma'am sa kanilang attendance ma'am kung bakit for example kasi ang mga bata namin doon ma'am is mostly are scavengers. So now I got that so-called absenteeism because in a week, thrice lang po sila mag-aaral, ma'am, kasi Martes at saka Biyernes, ma'am, wala na po yan sila sa school, ma'am, kasi nandun na po sa dam site area po, ma'am.
Siguro I leave the rest of the questioning to the rest of the panel. Thank you so much, Mr. Opon.
Welcome po, ma'am. Salamat po.
Doc Rice, okay lang ako nasunod?
Okay lang po.
Okay. Hi, sir. Good afternoon po.
Good afternoon po, sir.
Thank you. Congratulations, Sir Arnold. I understand that your study was conducted in 2019. Tama ba ako, sir?
Yes, exactly po, sir.
Okay, kasi kasi yung condition natin ngayon with the pandemic, talagang problem ito sa field, yung absenteeism, which it's very difficult to monitor. No?
Yes,
I was actually
yes,
thinking, baka sana ginawa ito sa during the time, this time sa pandemic, para at least makuha natin if ano ba yung scheme para ma-monitor yung absenteeism, if they're focused in online classes or in the tawag nito, yung sa pag-answer ng module in a specific time pero hindi naman pala. So in 2019, so basically,
yes,
yung face-to-face
actually,
na nakanta na.
Pero actually, okay, sir, I have
it
already also.
Come again?
Actually, sir, may action research din ako niyan, sir, na for the pandemic po, sir. Kaso, hindi ko lang matapos-tapos, sir, kasi sa time po na binigay sa amin, sir, ni Doc Darwin po, sir. So, hindi ko natapos talaga, sir.
Okay, sige. No problem with that though. And I appreciate the tawag nito, the interest of conducting research, and at the same time you were able to finish one action research. Now I would want you to go back to your research title. In your research title, it's absenteeism of grade 7 students of Carmel Integrated School, causes and remedies. You know what? Here's one thing that I can suggest, if kung okay lang sa'yo, na kung pwede ma-change na natin, because the main purpose of conducting really action researches is para may maano tayo. We identified a particular problem, and then what solution have we provided? Okay, and with the action research that we have, that we conducted, we are hoping that it can influence other teachers, other researchers to do the same. Makakreate ng impact. And I learned that in your manuscript that the remedies that you have provided, ano ba yun siya, were about
rewards and
award. Yeah, yes, formal conference with the parents and guardians, diba? Okay,
yes,
and
sir.
I find it actually, it's a common strategy. It's a common strategy, and good thing that you have provided data, because once we do it in research, nagiging ano yung impact ng data that can be used in the field. Ang sa akin lang, Sir Arnold, kung pwede, you focus on that strategy in your title. Ano ba yung name ng strategy natin? And how you address the problem. Yung problem mo is absenteeism. Okay?
Yes,
so focus
yes,
on
sir.
focus on the remedy. Focus on the remedy sa title mo. And then,
noted,
that's
noted,
it. Yun si pwede ko recommend. Okay. So far, yun lang yung question ko, and I suppose Doc also has her questions. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Basho. Doc Rice.
Okay, thank you. Hi, Sir Arnold.
Hello po. Good afternoon.
I love your spirit. Malibayan kay Sir Arnold. By the way, sir, congratulations for your study. Okay, so with the points taken by Dr. Cabading and Dr. Salinas, allow me to also share my insights about your study. The first thing that you have claimed kanina, you mentioned about chronic absenteeism.
Yes,
May I
ma'am.
suggest no to really strengthen the technicalities in the content of your paper instead of giving us or giving your readers opinions about chronic absenteeism in your paper. Kindly indicate data na in your school chronic absenteeism is really happening, because that's really
Okay.
important and giving in the background of the study pa lang ulam na. That would mean background of the study pa lang problem is already existing. And one way of intensifying that is giving your data. Okay, so hopefully you could improve in that aspect, Sir Arnold.
Noted po,
Next,
Doc.
okay, thank you so much. Now, next would be since your problem is on absenteeism, and as we all know, obviously everybody knows this kind of phenomenon already. So, my question would be, what do you think is your specific and unique features sa study mo na I mean, compared to others, I mean, what specific and unique feature, rather, that you see in your study na more inviting for the readers compared to the other studies that have already explored in student absenteeism?
So far, ma'am, in my awards and rewards, ma'am, because this awards and rewards, ma'am, are unique because I'll give some awards, ma'am, like I giving goods to my students, and also
Okay.
I'll give also certificates in the flag raising ceremony, ma'am, before
So
we go
that
to the
would mean
classroom.
among the three that you have presented, in relation yung sinabi kanina ni Doc Salinas, you emphasize more, I mean, to you personally as a researcher, mas na-emphasize mo yung reward system. So why not focus on that kind of intervention?
Ah, all right.
Oo, mas klaro po. That would be it. Okay, just a suggestion lang po, Sir Arnold, to improve your future study also. Guess that would
Noted
be
po,
all
Doc.
po. Yes, thank you.
Is it possible to add comment? Kasi I just asked question earlier. Do we still
Yes,
have
ma'am,
time?
pwede po tayo.
Yes, Doc.
Okay. Arnold, I'd like to say that your study is actually very interesting. Although we see a lot of studies already about absenteeism, but every case is a different situation, no? So tama yung pinoint out ni am I still in the in the
Yes, Doc.
okay.
Yes, Doc.
Okay. Tama yung pinoint out, no, na it would have been nice talaga pag umpisa pa lang, nakita na agad ano yung why that topic, when it's a common topic but it could be really stark reality sa ano ninyo. That's why I was focusing, ito talaga ang hinintay ko sa representation mo. Saan na yung data? That's why I ask really on the methodology kasi it would be very interesting kung talagang nagkaroon na ng personality yung result ng study mo. Like, mai-imagine ko yung situation ng school mo. Like, for instance, maybe you could have presented na because of of the action na you have um, kasi action research ito. I would like to see the impact of the action that you have done as to the degree of attendance, and more so doon talaga ako sa qualitative. That's why I want to see what were the common themes or responses of your um,
Students.
teachers, not the
Yes, ma'am.
teachers and the students, and kahit hindi mo ma-present lahat, ano yung mga highlighted significant output kasi para mas meaningful yung result, because I'm very sure those who would like to be reading your study na may problem din sa absenteeism would like to get some key points from your situation that they could relate to. Okay,
Okay.
that's it.
Noted po,
Thank you,
Doc.
Arnold.
Thank you so much, Doc Luz.
Okay. So, no more questions from the panelists. Okay na po tayo. Okay, so thank you so much, Sir Arnold, and
Thank you.
congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you as well, panelists. Okay, so we're going to proceed now to our fifth participant. Okay, so again, thank you. And I would like to give recognition to our panelists. Aside from Ma'am Riza and Sir um, Salinas. We have Dr. Luz Celine. Okay, we are so very fortunate to have her in this event since that she's from America. Okay, so thank you so much, Ma'am Luz, for gracing this event and for being with us here. And now let's proceed. Okay, to the fifth participant with her classroom-based action research title, Enhancing Students' Research Skills through Providing Assistance and Intensified Support in Research Subject or Pairs in a Blended Learning Modality. Okay, let's all welcome Ma'am Miraflor Tiranding from Mintal Comprehensive High School. Good afternoon, ma'am.
Teaching and learning research as a subject in this time of pandemic becomes more challenging, which requires pedagogical innovation that should embrace learners in the new normal. I am Mira Flor Randing of Mintal Comprehensive High School, Senior High School, presenting the action research entitled Enhancing Students' Research Skills through Providing Assistance and Intensified Support in Research Subject or Pairs in a Blended Learning Modality. Most senior high school students consider research as one of the difficult subjects. Bokar in 2011 posited that most of the time, research work to be tedious and tiring work to do. The unprecedented pandemic crisis of COVID-19 has brought changes to the landscape of education around the world, and the sudden shift to blended learning from traditional teaching learning process heightened these feelings of learners towards the research subject. This study aims to answer the level of implementation of blended learning modality, which would suffice the findings of the following research questions. First, what is the level of satisfaction of senior high school students on the implementation of blended learning modality in terms of A, the mode of distribution of printed modules, B, mode of posting or uploading of digital modules, C, content of modules, and D, conduct of virtual consultation and discussion. And these studies sought to answer the main question, which is, how does pairs improve the research skills of the student? And furtherly, to substantiate the claim of the researcher, it also aims to answer what is the experience of the learner under pair strategy. Using random sampling to get the response for research question number 1, a total of 320 out of 1,126 total population of senior high school students of Mintal Comprehensive High School of this study, regardless of grade level and academic track and strand, were taken as respondents. For the main objective of this study, one student participant from the TVL track under Electrical Installation and Maintenance, or EIM, strand was subjected for the conduct of this study. For the data gathering, for question number 1, a researcher-made questionnaire was used in the gathering of the data. In question number 2, the data is gathered also through the responses from the researcher-made questionnaire. The outputs presented by the learner using the task monitoring form, his attendance to the asynchronous and synchronous, as well as the limited face-to-face interaction. For question number 3, the response of the learner to his experience in the pairs intervention is being considered. In terms of statistical tool, MEAN is used to answer the level of implementation of the blended learning modality, as well as the level of satisfaction on how pairs improve the research skill of the learner and the level of satisfaction on the use of the task monitoring form. In the conduct of the study, the researcher made a proposed intervention known as pairs, which means providing assistance and intensified support in research subject using the following. First, guided step by step with corresponding examples on how to improve the research skills involving grain or gathering, reviewing, analyzing, interpreting information. Second, the utilization of task monitoring form. Third, critiquing and feedbacking during the limited one-on-one discussion, and the usual blended learning asynchronous and synchronous platform. Descriptive statistics like frequency counts and mean and standard deviation were used to treat the data. This study utilized 4-point Likert scale, and data were analyzed using the scale. For the range of means, we have 1.0 to 1.75, strongly dissatisfied, 1.76 to 2.50, dissatisfied, 2.51 to 3.25, satisfied, 3.26 to 4.0, strongly satisfied. The results on the level of implementation of blended learning modality for the following sub-questions, we have mode of distribution of printed modules is 2.76, which means students are satisfied. Mode of posting of digital modules is 2.80, which means they are satisfied. Content of the modules, 2.73, which means satisfied. Conduct of virtual consultation and discussion, 2.66, still satisfied. And for the support system, that is 2.54, it's still satisfied. Using the self-made questionnaire on how pairs improve the research skill of the learner, result shows that the learner have greatly improved as reflected on the overall mean value of 3.67 in terms of grain, gathering, reviewing, analyzing, and interpreting information. Furthermore, the learner also rated a strong satisfaction on the task monitoring form being used to track his output according to the parts of the research paper that he is expected to comply with. In terms of experience, the learner responded that this strategy is very helpful since it helps him understand research better as a subject. It also helps him to easily face the struggle in conducting his own research. While pairs intervention has its own limitation in terms of the number of participants subjected to the study, as well as the manner of constructing the research questions, aside from the fact that it is self-made and has not undergone scrutiny and further validation by experts. However, results revealed both in qualitative and quantitative aspects that somehow the intervention has made a significant contribution to the learner in improving his research skill despite the pandemic crisis. In fact, his research grade has improved in the second semester through the 3I subject, and it is noticed compared to his performance in practical research grade in the first semester. It is warranted that this intervention is still subjected to further improvement and testing to really validate the claim of the researcher. Hence, the use of the intervention to other teachers teaching research subjects and even other subjects is still recommended. That would be all, and thank you for listening.
Okay, congratulations. What a wonderful, presentation from you, Ma'am Miraflor Tiranding. Okay, now let's proceed to the question and answer portion for our researcher. On deck, Ma'am Mira.
Yes, po. Good afternoon. And good afternoon to our panelists this afternoon.
Okay, so can I request Ma'am Raisa to be the first one to ask the question?
Okay, hi Miraflor. Hi, ma'am.
Hi po, ma'am. Good afternoon.
Congratulations, ma'am. Okay, so Ako daw mauna. Okay.
Right.
So, first and foremost, I commend this strategy, ma'am, no? Itong pair ninyo. Because I believe learners do. I mean, as a research teacher also in senior high school, I believe that learners, they also need intensified support to guide them in understanding the nature and the processes of research, especially that we are now in the new setting. And also, yung the paper na pinadala kanina morning, no? Na-review ko pa siya. So the paper is academically kompleto jud kayo, no? Kompleto Ricardo's. It's well presented in terms of the technicalities and content. One clarification ko lang siya, ma'am, since wala pa man ako. I mean, we don't know the proposal part. Diretso naman dito sa full blow na siya, ma'am, no? My clarification lang is your first research question was asking, your research question number 1 answers the question on the level of satisfaction of the students in blended learning modality. Correct po, ma'am?
Yes po, ma'am. Actually,
Okay,
it's
the later part
um
is the introducing of pair as an intervention. So my concern or my clarification, hindi lang pala ito yung concern, but the clarification lang po kasi hindi naman ako part sa proposal. What do you think? I mean, why is it that we start with the level of satisfaction sa blended learning, then nag-pair po tayo? How are they connected? Paki-guide lang
nag
po kami sa transition po.
Okay, ma'am. It's actually a institutional basic research in the senior high school department. The first question, it's a survey on our first semester implementation of blended learning. So we wanted to target if how effective we delivered that one. And since from then on, we noticed that there, especially on research subjects, that there is like a decline of the submissions of answer sheets under self-learning kits, and at the same time the response of some students, particularly those that are under the TVL track. So from the list number, we sort like from the list number I conducted we and my collaborator identified a learner that from um the list number of list number from the section that submitted list answer sheets on research on the first semester. So the learner identified is under the TVL track um, on EIM po, ma'am. Then on, it's like we shifted into like a case study. It is shifted into a case study type wherein I focus on the learner under that the learner identified from EIM. Then from then on, like we um we identify the using the pair strategy, that is the utilization now of the monitoring, and at the same time intensify the assistance to that student, like um she he just used mobile phone. So instead of using that, wherein the editing is really hard for him to do, we the school provided um, from the ICT a laptop in order for him to work on. Then at the same time, um, like intensified support on the monitoring of his output po.
So parang yung sa level of satisfaction, yun yung naging basis nyo, ma'am?
Yep po. Yes, ma'am. From then, I identified the list, number, a section that has
Yung sa
list
EIM,
submission.
ma'am, no?
Oh,
Yung sa
yes po.
EIM as mentioned sa paper. Okay. So that's for the research question 1. Now, moving on to the pair, ma'am, which is the intervention. So one clarification po kasi
Proposed intervention.
sa part ng paper nyo, naka-indicate yun monitoring form. So one clarification that I see in the study is the implementation of pair with the use of the task monitoring form. Does it address to group leaders only, ma'am, or to all the students in research, or simply the research paper as a whole? How do we monitor po with using the pair?
It address only to the identified learner, ma'am. Because it's like already a case study. So like it's still the usual, like it's implemented on the other, but we focus on how it's like a uniform implementation, but the it has a close monitoring to the learner that we have identified on
So
EIM.
specific siya na bata, ma'am.
One lang po na learner from the EIM.
What area
Oo.
po yung na-monitor natin, ma'am, in terms of
Ah,
research? Is it the part of
based
the research?
No,
or
it's on the
output
scale, ma'am.
natin?
On the scale, like the grain, the gathering of information,
The specific
the
degree.
review, yeah po.
Okay,
Dun
so
po,
that would
ma'am.
be all,
Dun lang
ma'am.
po.
Noted po. Thank you so much, Ma'am Mira.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Doc.
That would be all, Ma'am Ruby.
Ay, thank you so much.
Passing the
Thank
ball.
you, Ma'am Raisa. Thank you, Doc Raisa. Sir Hirvasha Salinas, would you like to answer?
Ay. Okay. Siguro i-connect ko na lang ko Ma'am Raisa kanina yung question because
Okay
she
po.
was able to introduce, ask about the first and the second research question. Kanina yung main question was about, research question was about the use of pair, no? Pero medyo ano lang ako. But anyway ang ganda ng presentation and congratulations. Tawag nito, Ma'am Miraflor. Congratulations, Ma'am Miraflor.
Thank you, Doc.
For research. Oo, ang ganda ng pagkakaroon ng research. Medyo lang ako sa validity ng data pertaining to
Pair.
the third research question.
Actually, I stated also on the result that it is really still subject since the questionnaire is a teacher made, and at the same time it's not been subjected into validation. So of course I'm really willing, no, because it's still it's still a proposed intervention po, Doc.
Okay, sige, though I understand na sometimes when we are doing research along the way that we have to change the research question. With your research question, first nung pag-present mo, it was possible. Bakit one experience, one learner lang, no? Ano ba yung research question niya, ha? Tingnan ka. Balikan ko yung research question mo. Ang sabi mo sa research question, what is the experience of the learner under pair strategy? And I suppose it's not just one experience, but our experiences. What are the experiences of the not
learner.
Just pero ang sabi dito, a learner. Doon na naman, distract naman ako sa learner. Learner lang, isa lang ba? And then
Isa
later
lang po,
on, during your discussion, so isa lang talaga.
Opo,
And
Doc.
when we have limited, even just one, no, na participant in a study, that's one source of tawag nito, yung sa validity of the data that we use. No, it's good, no, that you have you were honest saying that even the teacher-made questionnaire that you prepared was not validated yet, and there is still time to change and to decide
Yes, po,
really if you are going to pursue with your third research question.
Opo, Doc, kasi we are considering, I am also considering the resources, like it's an intensive, shall we say, intensive support. So I can only borrow one laptop from the ICT department that could be lent to the student. So if that would be multiple subjects, so it would also force me to have other resources to provide. So I want also if one is provided to one respondent, so it should be provided to all, so that it would be like somewhat but the validity like that. So so it's like that. So we are also
Correct.
I am also considering the resources. If it's provided to one, it should be provided to one. And also we have limited contact due to IATF protocols. So I can
Correct,
only
correct.
the submission of modules, I could only call that respondent one just a little of his time, and not more than, like, if I would be having more than one subject, so the limitation is also on like that. So I also observe the health protocol. So if it's more than one, I don't know if I could, with the multitask that we have as a teacher, I don't know if I could manage more than one as of the moment.
Correct. Though I understand na. It's just like research talaga. There are variables that we cannot manipulate. There are resources that we cannot manipulate. Okay? And to finalize your research, I think you have to consider really, ano ba talaga, yung result, will it be valid? If the readers will really believe na ganito yung result, if I'm just using one tawag nito, participant in my study. Okay?
Yes,
Sige.
po. Thank
Just
you,
have that
Doc.
one considered, okay?
Okay, Doc. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Doc Salinas. Okay, last but not the least, Dr. Luceline. Kabading.
Okay, Miss Miraflor, first of all, no, you were able to present your study with clarity. Kaya medyo na-follow ko talaga yung, hold on. I cannot see her. Is it the way this is set up? Am I still live?
Yes, Doc.
Hindi ko
Stage
kasi
ako.
siya, ayan. Okay,
Yeah.
okay. There you go. So it was actually very clear yung flow mo, no? So for that, I commend you, no? So
Thank
wag ka
you,
nang
Doc.
pawisan, no? Kaya lang, kasi clear siya, talagang makikita namin kung saan
Oo.
yung medyo
Gray areas.
gray areas. Well, I will not call it gray areas, no? Actually, I am with what was cited by Dr. Raisa and Dr. Givasio. Medyo na bara ako doon sa number 1, isa lang yung participant, no? So, and also what Dr. Raisa cited, no? Kasi yung first, parang, okay, we understand na constrained tayo sa time and resources. But maybe I would suggest, kasi yung first question mo was focused on blended learning, tapos biglang pumunta tayo sa pair, no? Siguro, I would believe that it can be possibly a two-pronged study para ano tayo sa time, maybe you just focus on the
Focus on
blended
pair.
or focus on pair. But between the two, actually very interesting yung sa pair, no? Kaya lang, siguro to make it more substantial, instead na isang participant, damihan mo. Tapos, you were showing the flow of the pair, no? Ano yung mga
Opo.
steps na ginawa mo. Maybe, kahit siguro 3 person
Person.
with that. Pero yung sa flow mismo, meron na siyang in-depth analysis. O, ano bang nangyari sa first step? Was it appreciated? Ano yung outcome? So, para talagang focused yung study.
Study.
Oo.
Opo,
Kasi
Doc.
maganda yung methodology. Kaya generally, it's actually a very interesting study. Kailangan na lang siya laliman. Okay?
Thank you, Doc.
And I'd like to point out, very good yung slides mo for presentation purposes. Doon lang konti sa beginning yung intro. Masyadong maliliit yung font. Siguro key
Opo.
points lang doon para right away yung highlight makita.
Okay, thank you, Doc.
That's it. Thank you.
Sige po, Doc. Thank you.
Hey, thank you, panelists. Congratulations, Mamira, for the successful presentation. Again, so we're going to proceed now to our 6th participant. Sir Rupert, kindly introduce.
All right. Congratulations once again, Mamira Floranding of Minta Comprehensive High School. Okay. Moving on to the next presenter, let's all welcome Ma'am Jackie B. Soniga of Talandang National High School with her classroom-based action research entitled Enhancing the Student's Skill in Finding the Trigonometric Ratios of Special Angles through Trigonometry Finger Trick. Let's all welcome, once again, Ma'am Jackie B. Soniga of Talandang National High School.
Good day, everyone. I'm Ma'am Jackie Suniega, a junior high school teacher from Talandang National High School. Today, I will discuss my action research entitled Enhancing the Student Skills in Finding the Trigonometric Ratios of Special Angles through Trigonometry Finger Trick. For the background of my study, it was February 2020 when I was having my Mathematics 9 class at Talandang National High School, when I observed that my students were having difficulty in understanding the concept in trigonometric function. Most of them have no calculators, specifically the scientific calculator. We all know that in a mathematics classroom, scientific calculators are a very essential tool in the solving process. Specifically, these scientific calculators help students in solving for the unknowns in the ratio of trigonometric functions. In most public schools in our country, according to the study of Galeto, teachers are confronted by challenges brought by the lack of gadgets in the classroom, like the scientific calculator and graphing calculator. In the conduct of the study, the use of trigonometric finger trick was introduced to student participants as an intervention to help them solve trigonometric ratios of special right angles without the help of a scientific calculator. The purpose of the study was to determine the effect of the trigonometric finger trick in mastering the learning competency and finding the trigonometric ratios of special angles. Specifically, this research sought to find answer to the following questions. 1. What is the level of student skills in finding the trigonometric ratios of special angles during the pretest? 2. What is the level of student skills in finding the trigonometric ratios of special angles after introducing them to the trigonometric finger trick? 3. Is there a significant difference between the scores of the students during the pretest and post-test? 4. How much effect does trigonometric finger trick enhance student skills in finding the trigonometric ratios of special angles? This study is a one-group pretest post-test design to determine the effect of the intervention. According to the study, this features the same group as participants of the study, having assessments before and after the intervention is implemented. This study was conducted in Talandang National High School during the school year 2019-2020. Purposive sampling was utilized in the conduct of the study wherein there were 16 students who were student participants. For the intervention of the study, the trigonometry finger trick was demonstrated by all grade 9 students, but with an in-depth focus on the participants of the study. The tutorial sessions for the participants lasted for 5 hours within a week for their mastery of the competency through the trigonometry finger trick. For the research instrument, a 10-item questionnaire was adapted from the 4th quarter examination for grade 9 from the division of Davao City. The statistical tools that were used in the study were mean percentage score, t-test, and eta squared. For the results and discussion, we need to recall the 4 questions that were raised in the statement of the problem. 1. What's the level of student skills in finding the trigonometric ratios of special angles during the pretest? Table 1 shows the pretest scores of the students. It revealed a mean of 4.25 and a mean percentage score of 42.5 according to the index level. 2. What is the level of student skills in finding the trigonometric ratios of special angles after introducing them to the trigonometry finger trick? Table 2 shows the post-test scores of the students, wherein it revealed a mean of 9.75 and a mean percentage score of 97.5, which referred to as having a mastery level. Is there a significant difference between the score of the students in their pretest and post-test? Table 3 shows the result of the paired t-test on enhancing student skills on trigonometric ratios of special angles using the trigonometric finger trick. It is reflected in this table that the pretest and post-test scored generated t-value of negative 10.954 and a p-value of 0.00, which means that the use of trigonometric finger trick is significant and effective. How much effect does trigonometric finger trick enhance student skills in finding the trigonometric ratios of special angles? Table 4 shows the effect of the use of trigonometric finger trick on mastering the trigonometric ratios of special angles. It has an eta squared value of 0.832, which is interpreted as having large effect in the performance of participants in the study. All questions were answered, and now we will proceed to the conclusions. From the foregoing findings of the study, the following conclusions were drawn. The level of students to master the trigonometric ratios of special angles before the intervention was at low average level. There were students who have no gadgets to use during the calculation of the trigonometric ratios. The level of students to master the trigonometric ratios of special angles after the use of the trigonometric finger trick was at the mastery level. The intervention helped students to enhance their level. There was a significant difference in the performance of students in mastering the learning competency of finding the trigonometric ratios of special angles. The performance of students improved compared to that of the pretest. The use of trigonometric finger trick has a large effect in enhancing student skills in finding the trigonometric ratios of special angles after the use of trigonometry finger trick. For the recommendations, it is stated that in the study, it is for mathematics subjects, but it can be also used in other learning areas, such as science. 1. It is recommended that students should have a calculator in solving trigonometric ratios. 2. It is recommended that the mathematics teacher should learn how to use the trigonometry finger trick of special right angles. 3. The trigonometry finger trick should be integrated into classroom teaching in finding the trigonometric ratios of special angles. And 4. The use of trigonometric finger trick is an effective tool in improving student skills in the trigonometric ratios of special angles. Therefore, teachers are encouraged to use this as a strategy with the reinforcement of the SIM-like materials. That would be all for my action research entitled Enhancing the Student Skills in Finding the Trigonometric Ratios of Special Angles Through Trigonometry Finger Trick. This has been Ma'am Jackie Zuniga from Talandang National High School. Thank you for listening. Good day.
All right. Thank you once again, Ma'am Jackie B. Zuniga of Talandang National High School. At this juncture, may we call in once again our panel members for their questions.
Hello po, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
So, ma'am and sir, would you like to give
Sige,
the
sige.
first,
Ako na lang siguro may mauna.
si sir. Si sir. Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Congratulations, Ma'am Jackie. Ang ganda ng research. Okay? Ang ganda ng research.
Thank you.
You were able to introduce a particular strategy, you know? Strategy yung binigay mo to help our kids, especially those na walang calculator. Okay? Yung hindi nila ma-afford na bumili ng calculator, so there is a strategy. Ako, I'm not really inclined so much in mathematics, pero sa trigonometry, meron ka ibinigay na strategy, which is good, no? And I wanted to learn it. Gusto ko matuto din kung paano ba yung ginagawa yung mga finger trick na yan. One recommendation siguro na may ibigay ko somehow, Ma'am Jackie,
Yes po.
try to own it. Try to own it, meaning probably gumawa ka ng name for that finger trick thing na ginagawa. Okay? 'Di ba?
Yes,
Meron tayong tinatawag na mnemonics, 'di ba, sa mathematics, and you said that it's
Yes,
different from the finger trick that you said. Okay? And
Yes po.
itong mnemonics na ito, it has a distinct na name for that strategy. In your strategy that you introduce, try to own it. Make a name for that, not just a simple finger trick. Okay? That's one
Yes,
recommendation ha, para at least magkaroon tayo ng branding.
Noted, sir. Yes po.
Kasi baka pwede mo pang ma-edit yan. And then you explain,
Yes,
you
po.
include that one in your title, yung name ng strategy na yan, para at least mas catching siya,
Yes,
no?
po.
And at the same time, mas ma-retain sa mga readers, sa mga bata, kung anong tawag ng ano na yan, ng
Finger
strategy
trick
na yan. Okay, good.
Opo.
And
Thank
I was
you.
really excited to learn the flow of your research from the one you presented, and while you were presenting, I was also reading the manuscript. Natawa lang ako dun sa last part. Ang ganda na sana, pero natuwa ako dun sa last part. Bakit? Yung sa recommendation
I love
mo,
it.
dun sa recommendation,
Foundation, number one.
number one
sir.
recommendation. It is recommended that students need to use calculator. Agaray, ano nangyari? I thought ipopromote natin yung finger trick, pero promote pala yung paggamit ng calculator. Ano ba yan? Sige daw, can you tell us baka anong
Yes
idea
po.
gusto mo
Sir, if I
i-emphasize
may
doon?
Yes. I thought, sir, kanang students can use ordinary calculator. So, pwede na itong calculator nga sa tindahan. So, pwede to. But actually, the number one statement for the recommendation was a bit quite confusing. Tama dyan mo ingon, sir. But if I will be given a chance to edit
Okay.
it, I will change it into I will recommend that it is optional for students to use calculators for the decimal computation of the trigonometric ratios. Kato na lang siguro, sir.
Sige.
Kung
Ayusin mo lang ha. Ayusin mo lang. Medyo na-discourage ko na to as a first yung mga recommendation. Okay. So far, I
Number
think
one,
the other
Yes
panel
po.
members also have their questions. And again, Ma'am Jackie, congratulations. It's a good
Thank you
research.
po. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Right. Thank you, sir. Okay, let's continue with Ma'am.
Good afternoon po.
Okay.
Is it my turn? Ay,
Yes, Ma'am Riza.
as Ma'am Raisa
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Sige. Okay. Ma'am Jackie, congratulations.
Hello,
So allow
ma'am.
me to share the
Thank
same
you po.
sentiment with Doc Salinas, no? Sa UMS kasi kami, no? So I mean in language, we're not that how do you say it? Number friendly entities, okay? Appeared dito the Doc Salinas. Okay, with your study, ma'am, so you have here the trigonometric finger trick. So in my experience, I have difficulties in trigo. I mean, Dr. Polido could attest to that. So ma'am, how do we do this trigonometric finger trick? Are we really literally using our fingers
Pwede ko
with
mag-demo,
this?
ma'am?
Sige daw, for ano lang, for a very brief lang po.
Yes. Yes po. When we have a demo. Sige,
Okay,
ma'am,
sure.
for this ano lang. So, you can use your left hand or your right hand. So, for me, since right-handed ako, left hand akong gamiton para pang-fold ang right hand. So, we label this pinky finger as 0 degree. We have here 30 degree, 45 degree, 60 degree, and 90 degree. Then we assume that we have an entity or naay nakasulat diri somewhere sa palm nato that we have square root in the numerator, and in the denominator, we have 2. Now, if we fold our finger, for example, this one, bend our finger like this one, yung finger na nasa baba or underneath the folded one will be the radicand of the square root. Now, yung mga nasa baba, this will be the sine. Yung nasa taas, this will be the cosine. So, now, again, balik ko na to. We have sine 30, sine 30. So, we have 1. Ibutang na to siya dito sa square root, sine or as the radicand. Then, the denominator is 2. So, we have square root of 1, which is 1. And the denominator is 2. So, the square root of 30 is equal to 1/2 when we simplify. So, nga to siya, ma'am.
Okay. I may not so familiar with the intricacy and everything, but knowing that you are doing the manipulatives, I guess that's really, really helpful to our learners. And I may point out yung sinabi ni Dr. Salinas, no? You have to own it. If this is your innovation, then it is really yours. Okay?
Mama,
now, yes?
I'm afraid lang, ma'am, kasi wala pa ko in the internet po, wala siyang talagang name, then okay lang, maghimo-himo lang ko.
Maybe we have to consider mga ethical concerns about that.
Yes,
we can address
that's
that.
why,
But
ma'am.
if it's really yours, why not? Okay, now let's go back to your paper. So, na may concern with your paper, does your trigonometric finger trick in trigo, does it address one specific learning competency in our MELCs?
Yes
or in
po.
our curriculum? Okay, naka-address siya. Okay,
Yes po.
naka-anchor siya doon sa isang
Yes,
competency.
module 2 ng quarter 4.
Okay, now, one way of intensifying your paper, ma'am, try to explore data na nagsasabi that there's really a problem in that specific competency. Kasi
Yes
if
po.
you will find a data, that would be very good. But if there's none, you could actually emphasize the experience that you have right now in your school with all the difficulties in trigo. You could
Yes
actually
po.
emphasize that one as your research gap. I mean, using your study, it would fill in the research gap. So it would
Yes
really
po.
help your study intensify in terms of its content and relevance po. Just as suggestions lang naman. Okay, kung
Yes,
wala ka man
noted,
lang
ma'am.
nakita na competency na conducting a study, explaining na yun yung problema ani na learning competency, you may emphasize as your study a research gap that would fill in that specific gap. So I guess
Yes
that's
po.
all, Ma'am Jackie, for your study.
Thank you.
Congratulations. I had
Thank you
fun.
po.
Thank you so much.
Yes po. Thank you.
Pwede mag-additional? Hello?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay.
Naibog
So,
ka sa anak,
kahit-
sir, no?
Oo, as in, kayo. Ano siya, Ma'am Rice? No, nice siya that you have introduced the idea that she can include the competency, no? And I suppose hindi naman sa MELC yata yung ginamit niya because it was conducted fourth quarter in
So sa
2020. And
KJ, di
yeah,
pa yun sa milk, sir, no?
hindi pa sa MELC.
Sa
Pero
the regular, ano pa natin?
oo. I think you can also provide the data, like in your class, kung pila ka buok or ilan ba yung may calculator and bakit hindi nila kaya. Very basic data lang yata yun siya, ang needed, no? And that's if, no? Kung hindi talaga mai-provide yung, if there is really a gap, kung may problema ba talaga in achieving a particular competency related to the one you crafted. Okay?
Noted, sir. Thank you.
Hello, Miss Jackie. No?
Yes
First,
po.
I'd like to say you are really a mathematician kasi yung study mo as a quantitative study, very straightforward, no?
Yes
Madali
po.
siyang ma-follow and very accurate. So, for that, I'd like to congratulate you. By the way, my husband is also a math teacher, so I'm very familiar with the math studies.
Chigo.
Yeah. Ang ano ko lang, no, actually your study is very good as an action-oriented study, pero medyo i-tweak lang na ako gamay, no, to add up to its relevance, no.
Yes po.
When you first started the intro, you said parang na-focus mo na let's use this methodology kasi walang calculator yung mga bata, parang ganun yung
Yes.
it seems like the introduction is like that, but then as pointed out by si Dr. Salinas ata, no, medyo bumaliktad yung recommendation, but I think siguro I'd like you to refocus siguro your importance of the study. I believe it's not really much on the use of the calculator, if I may add some more importance in it, no. I think it's because generally yung mathematics can cause anxiety sa mga bata, no? Like generally students are afraid of math. So anything that would address that, no? Which is fitted kung action-oriented yung finger math mo, no? It spells some fun, engagement, and kaya nga siguro kami lahat dito listening, we would like to see how you perform it, no? Kasi interesting siya. And that's really the meat of action-oriented. Going back to your study, may I propose, no? This study is already very good, to expand it more kasi you will be doing more studies down the road, no? Yung question number 4 mo is how much, no? May tanong doon, how much effect, no? The way it was measured, I think you just base it on the test scores, correct, no?
Yes
So
po.
I feel like, no, in a study, para talagang may essence siya, no? The quantitative format will be more of the structural, but you have to get the heart of the study, and you can do it with qualitative. So, parang naka-align doon na owning your study. I think it would be great if you do a qualitative study in going through the procedure of that finger math that you were using. How much of it did the students enjoyed, which part, why were they enjoying it? So, kukunin mo yung mga comments, opinions, perspectives ng mga bata in every step of the procedure, and I think that will build up into a very substantial data showing why are the students liking it, kasi effectiveness
Yes
ang
po.
tinitingnan natin. So I believe doon na aspect you would be able to really get the meat of the study. It will not just be a structural one that is just based on numbers. It's really based on the kasi effectiveness, no, the qualitative portion of it. So I think that's one that you can probably pursue down the road para
Yes, ma'am.
the way you're going to present your finger math, no, kasi action oriented, you'll be able to enhance those procedure backed up by the study that you are doing. So that's my recommendation. Would
Yes,
you like
ma'am.
to comment on that?
Yes, ma'am. Actually, ma'am, during the tutorial sessions, I recorded students kanang mga ilang mga kanang feedback on the use of the trigonometric trick. But I did not include it in the manuscript kasi pang casual lang yung pagkasulat ko. Then I did not have many kuan.
You're on the right track, Jackie. So explore more on that, no? Ganun lang naman ang study, no? You start with step 1, so you're now you have a very good step 1. You can actually enhance it more for that step 2. You focus on the qualitative part, and you will have a very great study, and it will be a very interesting one. And then a little bit lang for the presentation purpose, no? When you cited nothing big, no, mga ano lang technicalities, when you said in your intro that calculator is important, pero wala akong nakitang citation doon, no. So just make sure when you claim something there has to be a citation, parang basic talaga natin yan, otherwise we cannot be claiming things, no? Yun lang, maliit lang. Masyadong perfect ang study mo, kaya naghahanap ako ng something to comment for the presentation. Otherwise, very good, no? Well done, well done. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, panel.
All right. Thank you once again, our panel members, and congratulations. And thank you, Ma'am Jackie, for sharing the trick.
Yes.
Those finger trick, Ma'am Jack. Oh.
Yes. Remember, Ma'am, natudlok na ko na sa iyo sa una.
Yes, sir. I am also one of those naka-benefit sa iyang finger trick. Thank you, Ma'am Jackie. So proud of you,
Thank you, Ma'am Jackie.
Thank you po. Shout out sa kanang taga Talandang National High School. Goodbye.
Hello, Talandang National High School teachers and school principal, Sir Abelio.
Right, Ma'am Bem?
Okay, sir. Yes, sir, Rupert.
To present the last presenter.
Okay, so thank you, panelists. Thank you, Ma'am Jack. So, let me introduce the last but not the least, okay, for our teachers category. We have Ma'am Jeneline P. Estrera from Optasiano Hilay National High School with her classroom-based action research title, The Effectiveness of 8 Weeks Reading Remediation for Grade 7 Learners Under Frustration Level of Optasiano Hilay National High School, school year 2019 to 2020.
The floor is yours, ma'am.
Cluster 6 PSDS, Dr. Junito Ogalan, school heads, teachers, students, parents, and audiences, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. I am Jeneline P. Estrera of Optasiano Hilay National High School. I am going to present to you my action research entitled The Effectiveness of 8 Weeks Reading Remediation for Grade 7 Learners Under Frustration Level of Optasiano Hilay National High School, school year 2019-2020. Background of the study: the school's division of Davao City initiates the Reading Development Program in support of the trust of the Department of Education to make every Filipino child a reader, anchored to the principle that every learner should be able to read in his or her grade level. Part of this reading development program is the conduct of reading remediation or intervention for the grade 7 learners of the school year 2019-2020 under frustration level. The school is committed to start the full implementation of the 8-week plan to ensure that the reading levels of the concerned struggling readers will be improved to at least instructional level before the opening of the new school year on August 24, 2020. The primary focus of the program is to elevate the students' reading performance in English and Filipino. Improving the reading ability of students needs a lot of time, effort, and cooperation on the part of the teacher, parents, and the students. Remedial reading can unlock reading difficulty of students who find it hard to pronounce words, to understand meaning of words, and to comprehend text that they have read. Thus, Optasiano Hilay National High School has decided to implement the 8-week reading remediation program, or the 8 WRRP, which is especially designed to assist struggling readers in grade 7 students of school year 2019-2020. Students who are eligible for the program were those under prostration level after taking PhilAIRE by the end of the school year. It is conducted through distance learning at home with parents, guardians, or any members of the family who can help in the implementation for 8 weeks starting June 29, 2020 to August 21, 2020. Objectives of the study. This study aimed to find out the effectiveness of the 8-week reading remediation program for grade 7 students under prostration level of school year 2019-2020. It sought to answer the following questions. First, what are the reading levels of participants prior to the 8-week reading remediation program? Second, what are the reading levels of participants after the 8-week reading remediation program? And last, is there a significant difference on the participants' reading levels after the implementation of the 8-week reading remediation program? We'll proceed to methods. First, we have the research design. This study utilized action research design. According to Burns 2015, action research aims to systematically investigate a given social situation and promote positive change and improvement in the participant situation. Additionally, AR considers problematic issues in order to bring about critically informed changes in practices. This study looked into the improvement of the reading levels of participants who were part of the 8 weeks reading remediation program. Next, we have the sampling. The purposive sampling technique was used to determine the participants of the study. 15 students of grade 7 during the school year 2019-2020 under prostration level based on the results of post-oral reading test in Philippine Informal Reading Inventory or PhilAIRE were selected to be the participants of the study. So what is PhilAIRE? It is an informal reading inventory composed of graded passages designed to determine the individual student's performance in oral reading, silent reading, and listening comprehension. These three types of assessments aim to find the student's independent, instructional, and prostration level. Next, we have the sources of data and information. The primary sources of data were based on the results of the graded passages in PhilAIRE administered to the participants of the study. Now, to determine the effectiveness of the program, the scores obtained in all graded passages were checked and compared. Last, ethical consideration. I exceedingly considered honesty and confidentiality in obtaining data from the participants of the study. The results will be used solely for the evaluation of the intervention program. Permission from the principal was secured. Parents or guardians of the participants were informed about the nature and objective of the study and were asked for their consent. Discussion and analysis. The scores of the daily reading materials taken from the pre-test and post-test of grade 4 to grade 7 passages in the PhilAIRE were checked and compared using a two-tailed paired sample t-test. At this time, I'm going to present to you Table 1, reading level prior to the implementation of the 8 weeks reading remediation program. The reading level of the participants prior to the undergoing 8 weeks reading remediation program is prostration level with a mean score of 2.933. So it presents the scores obtained from the PhilAIRE post-test during grade 7 of school year 2019-2020. The result shows that the learners are having difficulty on the reading skills required for the grade level they are in, according to FLIPO 2014 as cited in PhilAIRE Manual 2018. Table 2, it presents the reading level after the implementation of the 8 weeks reading remediation program. The reading level of the participants after taking part in the 8 weeks reading remediation program is at instructional level with a mean score of 6.333. Being in the instructional level suggests that the learners can now benefit from teacher-directed instruction in reading, according to FLIPO 2014 as cited in PhilErie Manual 2018. These learners with more support and assistance from teachers and parents can make learning at their grade level more manageable. Next, Table 3. It presents the score of the students in PhilErie post-test before and after remediation. The result shows that there is a significant increase on the scores of the participants after the 8 weeks reading remediation program, with a mean score of 6.33 and a standard deviation of 1.291. Compared to the scores prior to the implementation with a mean score of 2.933 with a standard deviation of 0.799. In Table 4, it presents the reading level of students before and after the 8 weeks reading remediation program, while Table 5, it indicates the difference between the scores of the participants before and after the 8 weeks reading remediation program. So after analyzing the data, the result shows that there is a significant increase on the scores of the participants after the 8 weeks reading remediation program with a mean score of 6.33 with standard deviation of 1.291 compared to the scores prior to the implementation with a mean score of 2.933 with a standard deviation of 0.799. As reflected in the obtained p-values for teen 2.154 and a p-value of less than 0.001, which lower than the alpha value of 0.05. The result indicates that the participants' reading level significantly improved from frustration to instructional and independent after exposure to the 8 weeks reading remediation program. Okay, so for the conclusion, the primary sources of data were the results of the graded passages in PhilErie administered to the participants of the study. To determine the effectiveness of the program, the scores obtained in all graded passages were checked and compared. Results indicated that the students' reading level of frustration before the program significantly improved to instructional and independent after the 8-week exposure of the program and at the same time has improved the school's reading performance. For the recommendation, first, parents and guardians should involve themselves in the reading remediation program to support the students in the home literacy environment. Next, the teachers should adapt the reading remediation program as a part of teaching methodology to increase students' reading level and performance. Next, teachers should continuously attend more trainings and seminars on different teaching strategies in reading for better teaching competency. Next, school heads should continuously follow up the implementation of remediation program and make a constant technical assistance in the development of the entire program. And lastly, school heads may include reading remediation workload in the individual cooperative learning or ICL time to ensure the delivery of the program for the promotion of higher academic performance of students in all subject areas through improving reading levels. Remediation comes in when reading level of students does not match with the outcome of teaching. A remedial reading program is needed for learners at struggling and non-reading levels because reading opens the door to several opportunities for growth and development. Thus, being on these levels would put students at disadvantage. As reading teachers, we must work to ensure that all students receive the targeted reading instruction and provide the necessary tools for effective home reading practice to occur, most especially in the time of pandemic. When home and school teams work together to support struggling readers, growth in literacy skills is more likely to occur and the students will have the necessary skills to catch up to peers who are working at grade level. So, let us continue the 8 weeks reading remediation program for the students under frustration level and let us hand in hand to meet the necessary outcomes that would be possible to happen. That would be all. Once again, I am Jeneline P. Estrella of Baptisiano Hilay National High School. Thank you and have a great day, everyone. God bless us all.
Okay, congratulations, Mom Janeline. And now we're going to proceed for the panelists to ask questions for Mom Janeline. Okay, where are they? Hi, Mom Jen from Optasiano Hilay National High School. Okay, hello panelists. Ma'am Raisa, would you like to ask question now, ma'am?
Si Doc Luz muna. Palagi ka
Okay, Dr. Luz. Sige, ma'am.
Si
Dr.
Doc
Luz.
Luz muna. Kakahiya, no?
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon ba, no? Good afternoon, Miss Estrera, no?
Good afternoon po,
First
ma'am.
and foremost, I really appreciate your study because as a project to enhance reading, I think that's very basic. Otherwise, parang if we do not improve the reading skills of our students, no, magiging futile yung lahat ng other efforts because they will not be gaining from it. Anyway, Janeline, I have one question, no? What instrument or what how do I state it? Did you use a certain standardized instrument to measure the reading level of your students? Were you using
We
something
just
specific? Go ahead.
we just use the Phil Airy, ma'am. The graded passages of the Phil Airy po.
Can you expound more? The reason I'm asking kasi gusto kong maintindihan ang at what degree of evaluation the reading level is being done.
Okay po.
Ano yung tool na yon?
Okay. So, Phil Airy po, it started with the group screening test. It consists of 20 items. And then if you will get 14 and above, so meaning to say, hindi na kayo ka-continue. You will not proceed to the remediation. So if you will get the score of 1 from 0 to 7, meaning to say, you will go back to grade 4, graded passages, ma'am. And then if you will get 8, if you will score 8 to 13, so possible your grade level, you are under grade 5 grade level po. Then we will conduct after that, after tracking the groups, the score of the group screening test, of course, we will give them the graded passages. Like for example, if the students if the students are under grade 4 level, we will give passages according to his or her grade level. And then during the reading session, we will assist the student. And if the student will proceed to instructional, he will proceed to another grade level.
Okay, so thank you. No, another question would be you were mentioning that they were assessed based on oral reading, silent reading, and reading comprehension. So how was that integrated in the evaluative part? The reason I'm asking kasi I really want to see how kung paano matatranscend yung data natin, no? You were mentioning on those three aspects. Paano yun na-evaluate sa PhilIR? Miss Jenilyn, you mentioned there were 3 types of reading skills, no? You said
Yes, ma'am.
oral reading, silent reading, and then reading comprehension. So, were those 3 levels evaluated when you categorize your student at what reading level are they? Naginamit ba
Yes,
yun or na-evaluate ba sila? Can
yes,
you
ma'am.
enlighten me more on that?
Like for example, ma'am, the student will read orally. So during the oral, we will give them a time limit. Uh, then after that, they will answer the questions followed. So we will assess them how many minutes they read and the miscues. We'll assist them the miscues of the words they have read, and then we also check the the answers of the student so that we can compare that if the student is leveling up.
Okay. So yung those 3 parameters were used so that you could come up with the result if what level these students belong. Tama ba
Yes,
ako,
ma'am.
Miss Janeline?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, very good, no? So I was just being curious on that aspect kasi kung the way it was presented, if no one understands what PhilIR is, no? Like me, I do not know what PhilIR is. It would seem like you were just giving a test to your student and then you let them read and then you let them take a test again and then boom, you now evaluate. So medyo kung ganun lang ang pagka-receive ng reader, it did not actually measure reading skills. It only measured test-taking ability. So I'm glad that you were able to explain well that methodology. No? So I believe for purposes of your readers, I think the procedure will have to be a little bit expounded when you present so that it will be captured really. Kasi that's why I pointed that out because in your presentation, when we go to research design, the what you presented there was actually a description of what is action researched, which is
Yes, ma'am.
important. However, for your study, I think you have to really say what was the methodology or how was the action research being done. Now that you explained it to me, it made me understand more and it made your study more your results more valid and credible, no? So I think that aspect for the reader purpose, no? So that's one, no? And then my next question is the materials that you use in reading, were those provided or part of the PhilIR or you were the one who used the reading materials?
The reading materials, ma'am, is part of the Phil Erie, ma'am.
Okay, very good. So that do you call it feel air, feel air?
Erie.
Yeah.
Phil
I
Erie.
think if I'm not mistaken, that's a standardized evaluative tool, correct? Is that something being used across different levels indoors? Because um, if that's a standardized one, it makes your study really very good, no? Kasi you're using a standardized material. So I'd like to highlight, if that's the case, you highlight on that aspect, no? So I'll
Noted po.
and okay, yeah. So that's very good. And then the last thing that I'd like to point out, doon sa introduction mo, you were saying about how important reading is, no? But that's good, but I think for an action research, you have to really zero into the gap. What was the problem? Why were you focusing on the reading? Because what you were presenting is the relevance of reading, but what is really the problem in your community? Why were you focusing on it, Miss Jeneline? Would you like to answer that, Miss Jeneline? What is the problem in your school that you thought you wanted to focus on that problem?
Actually, ma'am, the problem in our school, since we are focusing the 15 students who are under prostration level, so uh, the problem there is they can read, but they cannot comprehend. So
Mm.
that is the problem, the big
So,
problem of.
right. So exactly, Miss Jeneline, I think as an intro, that's what you would highlight that based on previous observation probably if you haven't done any testing or a feedback or a certain statistics that you have that rampant problem in your school. And
Sige po, ma'am.
before, kasi mas maganda na you do an action research because of something that you noted in the community. And that makes your study very relevant. All right,
Noted
that's
po,
it.
ma'am.
Very
Thank
good.
you, ma'am.
You were able to answer really comprehensively my question. Thank you, Miss Jeneline.
Thank you, ma'am.
Congratulations, Ma'am Jen.
Congratulations, ma'am.
Ako siguro yung susunod kasi si Ma'am Raisa is a linguistics major and I'm pretty sure master kayo na niya ng kuan or reading strategy, especially yung Phil Airy.
Kaya nga, sir.
All right.
Okay.
Sige, sir.
And I also understand no si Dr. Luz medyo ano kay siya, wala siya idea sa materials of Phil Airy. But I will look into the tawag nito, yung name ng intervention program. Ma'am Jeneline, congratulations na. The name of your intervention program is 8-week reading remediation program. Tama ba ko, Ma'am Jenny?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Sige, parang nawala yata. Or ako yung nawala? Sige. Next. Ganito, Ma'am Jeneline. It's also nice that Dr. Luz asked you about the material you used for the 8-week reading remediation program. Okay? And you
Yes,
said the materials you used were taken from the Phil Airy. Yung pagkakaalam ko sa Phil Airy kasi, per grade level, merong 3 na set. That's set A, B, and C.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes,
Now,
sir.
aside from the set A, B, and C, meron din tayong material for pre-test and for post-test. Okay?
Yes,
Are you
sir.
telling us na lahat ng mga materials na yon, the set A, B, and C, including the material A, pre-test and post-test materials, lahat ng yun lang yung ginamit niyo?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, ito yung question ko. Kasi, tama din yung sabi ni Dr. Luz kanina. I think we really have to specify ano yung procedure. Okay? Kasi,
Yes, sir.
8-week curriculum siya and you said, every 2 weeks, nagbibigay kayo ng material. So, sa 8 weeks, 4 na materials yung naibigay ninyo. Tama ba ako?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Sa 4 na materials, saan nyo kinuha yung isa? Di 3 lang naman yung available, set A, B, and C.
Yung post-test, sir.
So
Yung
hindi na.
post-test po, sir.
Okay. Sige. Another question ko. Because we are giving the material directly sa mga bata, so mas nastudihan nila. So hindi na surprise to check their skills, comprehension skills.
Actually, sir, like for example, the parent will retrieve the modules, and then we will contact them through.
Hello? Ako ba yung nawala or si Ma'am Jeneline?
Si Ma'am Jeneline po.
Si Ma'am Jen po.
Nawala po.
Oo, si Ma'am Jeneline yata. Sige, Doc Rice, tama ba yun? Tama ba akong concern? I was really confused. Ginawa niyang 8-week curriculum and then the materials being used, lahat naman, andun lang naman sa tawag nito, Phil Airy. I was thinking na meron siyang material na ibang gagamitin. And then, yung Phil Airy, gagamitin niya to assess.
Kung sa 8 weeks niya.
Oo, yun yung gusto ko malaman. Gusto ko malaman na, I mean, we are providing the material ahead. So, syempre, yung mastery, hindi ko alam kung tama ba yung generate niya na data.
Oo.
And
I thought
at the
sa
same
8
time,
week na intervention, lahat na material ba? Kaya ang PhilHearing mo, identify lang mo po siya sa level sa reader, ma'am. So, kung na-identify na sa
assessment tool siya. Assessment tool siya. Diba?
Kung saan nangitabo sa 8 weeks, matuto ko yung question
So,
sa'yo.
assessment tool ang PhilAiry.
Opo, ma'am. Identify lang siya, ma'am, unsa ka na reader. Bright ba ka or bright yun ba ka?
Okay.
So, but the material in between, yun yung
Pero nawala,
sa
nawala
Yes,
si Ma'am
ma'am.
Janeline.
O mo to
Oo.
nawala. O di pa
Ah.
describe na ko saya. Unsa nimong 8 week ko
Okay.
nahitabo. Nya nga siyang manuscript na ay home visitation, na ay mga kuan. Pero
Though
ko
I-
confused.
Ano?
Wala.
Okay, I really
Pero
appreciate
nawala
that
si Ma'am Jen.
teachers in the field, teachers in the field are doing strategies to address our problem pertaining to reading. Sige, while waiting Ma'am Janeline, siguro we'll talk about things na lang siguro connected to her research, and somehow I hope it will can also give or inspire other teachers to do the same. Kasi nga, bago nga lang in year 2019 when PISA, the TIMSS, and then the CPLM presented the assessment result, and it's very shocking na very low yung performance natin. Though DepEd has yet to give its official statement, no? And I believe ang laki ng factor
Sorry
ng
po for
reading.
the loss of
Ang laki ng factor ng
connection.
reading.
Right.
Right.
Janet is
Back,
back.
sir.
Sorry po, sorry for the loss of
Okay
connection.
lang, Ma'am
Live,
Jen.
ma'am. No worries.
Ayun,
Yes.
Ma'am Jen. Earlier, Ma'am Jen, we were talking about the initiative that you conducted, the research on reading, and we really appreciate that you tried, no? You tried making innovation para makatulong, and then you are saying it that it's conducted in 8 weeks. No, it's an 8-week program. Though I was confused kasi sa manuscript mo, nakasulat dun for school year 2019 to 2020, and the pandemic started in the Philippines later part na ng school year 2019-2020. And yeah, I think it's March or April. And then, in your procedure, may mga nakasulat na doon that you have to ask permission from the barangay, and that you have to follow protocols. So, kailan ba talaga ito nakandak?
Actually, sir, nakandak siya during the pandemic. Last July. Last June 29, 2020 to August 21, 2020. But the participants are coming from the results of the post-assessment during the school year 2019-2020. So they were chosen as my participants.
If that's the case siguro, it's no longer school year 2019-2020 kasi yung focus ng research mo is on the use of the 8-week reading remediation program. Okay, and then you use this 8-week reading remediation program in the school year 2020-2021 na. Okay?
Okay po.
Sige.
Noted.
You just change it na lang. Okay, you just change it, and then Ma'am Janeline, we were also talking about the material you used kasi parang I think Dr. Raisa can explain well about the purpose of using or implementing the PhilErie program in the Department of Education. Okay, Ma'am Jenny, ibibigay ko na kay Ma'am Raisa, ha?
Thank
Hi,
you,
Ma'am
sir.
Jen.
Hello, ma'am. Good afternoon po.
Congratulations, ma'am, no? Dili gud anak kalalim in taon mag-implement sa tong reading program sa tong mga bata.
Yes, ma'am.
And in your case, you have grade 7, ma'am. Am I right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Ma'am, may I clarify lang in your paper? Based on your paper, di ba, with the PhilErie, we were able to identify the reading level of our learners. Correct, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so our PhilErie becomes our assessment tool.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, my question, what happens to your 8-week intervention, ma'am? What are the ways and means that you have employed to help out our readers who are in frustration level?
So, during the program, ma'am, we monitor the students. So, during the
Monitor what,
monitoring,
ma'am? Ano i-monitor
progress,
natin, ma'am?
we monitor the progress weekly through text, through call and chat, ma'am. Then, if the students were not able to be called, of course, we will go to their houses to have their home visitation.
Okay.
So,
So, ma'am, in the PhilIRE or in the reading skills of our children, ma'am, one thing that we have to take note is to identify what aspect or what domain of the reading skills na hina sila or kailangan nila og tabang. Because when we speak of reading skill, we cannot actually generalize it. If the kid or if the learner could speak well, who is fluent in reading a complete sentence or whatsoever, but the comprehension is missing, still we consider them as poor readers. So have you identified, ma'am, specific domain or aspect of the readers na asa sila nag-struggle, ma'am? Or in
comprehension,
general
ma'am.
lang yun, ma'am?
Comprehension, ma'am. Their
Okay, in
comprehension, ma'am.
comprehension. So is that supported with a data, ma'am? Or in general lang gihapon?
In general, ma'am.
Oh, okay. So that's one area that we need to improve on your paper, ma'am. We cannot actually generalize the reading skill of our learners as a whole. We have to specify, for example, pag nasa mga primary or mga kinder tayo, di ba? We have the phonemes, phonemic awareness, but if we move on to junior high school, mga higher level na learners, we focus more on the skimming, scanning, noting details. Those are the specific areas that we need to look into our learners. So, just a suggestion, just in case, andyan na kasi yung papel natin, just in case if you wish to continue this in another subject or another participants, I would suggest na feel inadequate, identify their level, but try to explore more kung asa na specific domain na ay problema si reader, so that we could come up a more appropriate and helpful intervention to our readers. And that becomes the spirit of action research, ma'am. Okay, I
Noted
guess
po,
that's it
ma'am.
po.
Noted po, ma'am.
Okay, once again, congratulations, Ma'am Jen.
Thank you, ma'am.
All right. So congratulations to all our teacher participants. It was really great listening to all of you. You are all inspiring. We look forward to utilizing your ideas. And for the panel members, you have shared so much information for today's program. Thank you so much, ma'am and sir. So for the awarding of winners and certificates, you may go back to the link given this morning. The link that was given for the students category. So see you there, and
Okay, shout
wait
out.
for our shout out. Let's have our shout
Shout out from Sir Darwin Polido. Thank you to all school heads of Cluster 6 for the support and motivation. Kudos! Kudos! Cluster 6.
All right, from our PSDS, Dr. Jonito Agalan. The research team, including the TWG, is so amazing. Well done. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you,
Yes,
sir.
thanks so much.
Galan. Oh, napa. Still the same from Sir Galan. Thank you so much, Doc Darwin, because for 4 years as Cluster 6 Research Coordinator, you were able to sustain the culture of research with excellence. Of course, the support of Doc Leia M. Camilotes. Thank you so much, Doc
Indeed.
Darwin, and congratulations. Ma'am Juvie Remorosa Hiltura from Talandang National High School. Okay, Doc Jackie Suniega na yan. Congratulations, Ma'am Jack from Talandang National High School family.
We also have from Ma'am Mary Joy Giangan. Congratulations, Ma'am Jackie. Ang daming supporters si Ma'am Jackie.
Small but terrible. Okay, Pao Jack.
All right, so see you in the other link for the awarding of winners and certificates. Congratulations once again, everybody.